both sides. Because you never know with phones. Okay, so make sure I'm actually recording. I wasn't, guys. Oh my god, that would have been so me to walk away from my phone thinking I hit the button and I didn't hit the button. All right, Brenda, I'm just going to mute you.
Yeah.
All right. So, taking yourself onto your place. That is not crooked with the bottom of my screen. You know, it bothers me. I'm weird like that. Legs are going to be wide. We're just going to start by rolling it out, warming up our shoulders and our legs. Focus on keeping the hips tucked underneath, shoulders tight, shoulders down away from the ears. Now let's circle it the other way. Good. And let's do some big arm circles. In deeper into your legs as you warm up, so take your feet wider as you get warmer so that you can go deeper. And then circle it the other way. Good. Keep it up for a few more. And then we're going to roll out the wrists, bringing the arms down by our sides. And circling them the other way as they come back up. And circling them again the other way as they come back down. Still getting deep into those legs. Keeping the weight in your heel so that you're feeling it in your glutes. Hips are tucked underneath. Really big circles with those fingers. So imagine like it's almost like you're opening a doorknob. Good. Let's do one more. Really warming up those wrists and arms. My arms are on fire. I don't know about you guys. Let's bring it center. Arms up. We're going to turn out at the hips. Squeezing down and up. So I was a little too far apart, so I had to bring my legs closer together. So just make sure at the bottom your knees are over top of your ankles. You're squeezing through your glutes, pushing through your heels, so you should feel your glutes. But also you're pushing your knees open, so you might get a stretch in your groin, inner thighs. Think of leaning back with the shoulders. 5 more. 3 more. 2. Last one. From here, we can bring it down for a moment, shake it all out. And then from this position, we're going to take our arms out again, sink back down into our hips, squeezing our shoulder blades. Think of tucking the hips under, leaning back into it. Good. Now we're going to circle our arms nice and fast. Good. And let's circle it the other way. Looking great, guys. And up and down little flaps like you're trying to fly. And slice the hands forward and back. And bring it to your elbows. Open the knees. Keep your chest lifted. Sink into your hips. And we're going to take one hand, pressing in. Drop that shoulder and look over the other. And you're going to come back and switch elbows, pushing into the opposite hand, dropping the shoulder, looking over the other. Pushing those knees open. Bring it back center. We're going to squeeze our knees together against our elbows for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release the squeeze. Hold that position for 3 big deep breaths. One more. Now slowly lift your hips, toes point forward as you fold it over. Drop your head down if that feels okay. Shake your head like you're saying no. Nod like you're saying yes. And then reach it over to the right leg with both arms. And try to pull yourself in with both arms if that feels okay. Release, still releasing your head, neck, and shoulders, so you're relaxing the back of your neck. Bring it to center. Reaching across to the other leg with both hands. Pulling yourself in. Relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders. We're going to come back to center. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to slowly roll it up. One vertebra at a time. Ooh, let's grab a little sip of water and then we'll move along. I'm very thirsty, so I need a break. Are we getting warm? All right. From here, pardon me, making sure it's still going, because you never know. Let's keep going. So from here, we're actually going to start at the edge of our mat. And then or if you're not using a mat, you can continue facing me. I just want you to see shapes. We're going to walk it down. Your feet are now closer together. You're going to walk it down into a fold. If you need to, you can keep your head lifted, but if it feels okay, just let your head hang down. Release your head, neck, and shoulders. Your arms are reaching to the floor. They can even press into the floor a little bit if you're like, whoa, this is too much. But also try to release the arms and even grab your elbows with both hands so that you're hanging down. And from here, I want you to try to keep the weight even in your feet. So like keeping the weight in the balls of the feet and the heels evenly. Try not to lean back into the stretch. If anything, you want to tip forward ever so slightly so that you are getting a deeper stretch. And then from here, we're going to bend the knees, tuck the hips, slowly roll it up. We're coming up, however it feels good for you, obviously. And then take a moment, shake it up. When you feel okay, you're going to look up and down, just waking up the neck muscles and the neck a little more. And then center. And then you're going to look side to side, and I want you to think of looking over the shoulder, not just to the side, but over your shoulder, like you're almost trying to look behind you. I couldn't figure out that word for a minute. Couple more. Good. From here, you're going to come back to center, and then you're just going to tip the ears side to side, keeping your shoulders down and away from your ears. And you're trying to keep your hips still and just move through the top of you. And you're going to hold it over to the left. Take your left hand up and press your right arm down towards the floor. Think about pressing the right side of your cheek into the top 45 corner of the room. Finding that engagement so that you're not really pushing down too hard with your top hand. You're just holding your head there as you engage the side of your face and your neck muscles to create resistance. We're going to slowly bring it up, release, and then allow the other side to come down. My right ear's down, my right hand comes up. I'm not pulling, I'm just putting my hand on my head to create some resistance. Then I'm gonna push down with the left hand, left shoulder, and then push the left side of my cheek and neck up on a 45-degree angle to create resistance and an active stretch so that it's safer, because it's easy to like pull a neck muscle if you yank on your arm, pull down on your head too hard. But if you actively squeeze and contract through the activity, it's much harder to pull the muscle because the muscle is contracted. It's very unlikely to pull in that state. And let's gently bring the head back up. And then we're going to tuck the chin. You're going to interlace your hands, put them at the back of your head. Push your head into your hands for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. And then gently you're gonna hang forward again one more time before we walk forward. And then we're gonna walk forward on our hands all the way into our plank, and then to our knees, and then back into our child's pose for a moment, reaching those arms forward, and then pulling the shoulders back. You're gonna walk your hands over towards the right. Okay, from here, your right hand is going to come on top of the left and interlace so that you can pull on your arm as you push your hips to the left. And then same thing, walking over to center, we're going to do on the other side. So walking to the left, your left hand will interlace on top of the right, and you're pulling on that right arm just as you push the hips to the right. So you're trying to find that a little deeper stretch with that opposition. And then we're going to come to center, and then we're going to press it back up to our tabletop, and we're going to tuck our tail, lift our tailbone, lift our chin. If that feels all right, dropping into our chest. You're going to imagine pulling your arms towards your knees. They're not actually going to move, but you're going to imagine that contraction by actively pulling against the ground. And that's going to activate your upper back muscles and your back muscles in this position. We're going to hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep your core tight, but focus on that upper back, getting deeper and deeper into the squeeze for 3, 2, and release slowly into a neutral spine. So lifting your belly button and slowly, slowly tucking into a scared cat position, tucking your chin, lifting your upper back, separating your shoulders and tucking your tailbone. Now we're going to actively contract the core and imagine we are squeezing in a crunch as we push into our hands, and we're going to do the same 10-second hold. Inhale, exhale, crunch, squeezing, try to engage your core. Harden those muscles like you're getting punched in the stomach. You have about 6, 5, you can do it. Keep pushing, keep your shoulder tops down away from your ears so you're not crunching your neck. 3, 2, and release. Slowly coming to neutral. Now we're just gonna flow through some cat-cows, so take your time and move at your own pace to tuck and tilt through a few of those. And bringing it back into your scared cat for your last one to keep it even. And then neutral spine. We're gonna come into a downward dog. You're gonna tuck your toes under, lift your tailbone up, straightening out your legs, and I want you to try to get your ears between your biceps, pushing your nose towards your toes. Your knees actually. Your knees are slightly bent. The more you straighten them, the deeper they're going to get into your stretch, but you never want to hyperextend your knees. So think of just a micro bend. And you're trying to push your heels to the floor, but if they're not touching the floor, that's fine. Lift your tailbone as much as you can. So bend your knees a little deeper If you need it to help you lift that tailbone like you were doing in that first contraction we just did on our knees, squeeze your elbows together and roll the eyes of your elbows forward, pushing into the palms evenly all around. And we'll gently come back to our plank. We're going to step our left leg forward into a lunge. So now if you could, make sure you step that hand in line, or step your foot in line with your hands. It's going to make sense today, I promise. And we're going to find our balance. You're going to squeeze your back quad, your back glutes, press into your front heel, and then start walking your hands up your knee. Adjust your feet as needed. So notice how I'm kind of hopping around because my back foot was a bit too far back. Here on the ball of the back foot, front knee is bent and in line with that ankle. We're going to squeeze the core, roll the shoulders back. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Okay, so arms are up and they're in line with our ears, and they're nice and straight, so they're not in a Y. They're trying to be directly in line with our shoulders because that's where we would be in our handstand. And you're squeezing the glute in the back. And again, pressing into the heel on the front. You're trying to tuck your tailbone under. So you're engaging through your core and keeping yourself nice and safe for your lower back. And my legs are starting to shake, and now we're going to inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to squeeze them together this way. And we're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and you're going to release the squeeze, but you're not going anywhere. So you're going to hang out here. If your arms are burning, you can bring them down. Okay, if you want to stretch out the shoulders a little, we're going to roll the shoulders back. You can start here or stay here. Think of pinching your elbows together and just opening your chest. Or arms extend, or interlace and try to straighten those elbows. Focus on lifting your chest, still tucking your pelvis, back leg straight, front knee bent 90 degrees, and release down to your hands. Gently, we're going to take that right hand down and left hand up. Back leg is still straight, and if you can, you're on the fingertips of your front hand. Try to keep the elbow or the fingers slightly bent. We're going to come to the opposite hand now, or fingertips, and lift. Again, if you're on your fingertips, try to keep your knuckles slightly bent, like you're kind of making like a fist, or like holding a big ball. You don't want the knuckles caving the opposite way. We're going to bring it down, and then we're going to pull the back leg up. So now it's more in a triangle position. And we're going to lift ourselves up onto our front leg and find balance in a flat back. So my elbows are bent. My front leg has a micro bend. I'm squeezing my glutes. Shoulder blades are squeezing. Shoulder tops away from the ears. Breathing through it. Finding your breath again. We're going to take that right hand down again. Fingertips, if it feels okay, still pushing those knuckles outward. So think about holding a ball in your hand as you're on those fingertips. If you have nails, it's uncomfortable. I can tell you by personal experience in this moment, because my nails are like, why are you doing this? But this is a way to help strengthen your grip and strengthen the hand. Now let's take that left hand down and the right hand up, and we're all pole dancers here, so why wouldn't we strengthen our grip while we're stretching? It's just smart, right? You don't always have to do it. It's just a tip for you guys to use if ever you decide, oh, I can't reach the floor. Or you want to challenge yourself to strengthen at the same time. It's a nice way to give yourself a little help or a little challenge. We're going to bring it down. We're going to bend the front knee, our left knee again. Sink back again into that right leg. We're still on the ball of the back foot. And then from here, we're going to, let's turn. So if you're facing the back of the room, you're welcome to do a little pivot. I don't know where everyone's reaching, so Brenda, if you want to turn around and face the camera again, you're welcome to. Yeah, that's totally, there you go. See what I'm doing? Perfect. So now we can hang out, yay! Guys, I'm tired. We're gonna squeeze this quad and squeeze the side of the glute. You're gonna push that knee out with your squeeze, and you're gonna come to your fingertips if that feels okay. When you're really squeezing those legs, it'll be okay to lift up onto the fingertips. And then now also, if you can, you're gonna come up to your palms, but make sure this elbow is not on your knee. You're not leaning on your knee. Okay, you're squeezing through your legs and pushing through your hands to engage your back muscles to help lift up your chest and squeeze the legs this way inward to help you keep them up and active for 3, 2, and let's sink down into the left heel. I have a pole here to help me, but if you don't, feel free to just fall onto your butt and take a break for a sec, and then come and join us again. Right foot flexed, toes up, knee up, and you try to push that left knee out to the side. Everybody's looking great for 3, and gently walk it a little closer so you can fold it in half and breathe. Just deep breaths, finding your center again. If you don't want to be upside down, you're welcome to just keep your chest lifted, pushing into your fingertips here again, but just give yourself a minute to find your breath again, recenter. And then we're going to bend the knees, slowly roll it up or come up however it feels comfortable for you. We're gonna grab some water before we move on. Great job, guys. I know, I see that, like, oh, my hips are uneven now. Awesome job, my loves. Looking great. Alrighty. Let's continue. We have to do the other leg. So I'm going to start on this side so I know what's going to happen. We're going to roll our way back down. We're back in our forward fold. So before we walk forward, let's just come into our fold again. Try to keep a little micro bend in your knees, so like super micro bend, so it's not hyperextended, but you don't want them bent because obviously you're looking for that stretch. You can grab the back of your legs now if that feels okay, and start pulling yourself in. Okay, everyone, also think about your tailbone here. Try to lift it just a hair. Try to almost think of it in that same posture as in your cow position, the tailbone tilted up. And that's going to help get deeper into the hamstrings where your butt connects to your legs. And now we're going to slowly walk forward on our hands into our plank, finding our balance in our plank now. You can make sure your legs are either hip distance or even a little farther apart if you want. Making sure your pelvis is tucked underneath, your core is nice and tight, and you're not sagging into the shoulder blades. Elbows are straight and you're trying to roll the eyes of your elbows forward. And also think of your elbows kind of squeezing together. That's going to help activate your chest muscles so your shoulders aren't doing all the work, because that's often what's happening. Let's keep holding for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now the right leg is going to step forward by the hands. Make sure that it's stepped far enough forward, and then we're going to find our balance on those legs, back leg on the ball of the foot. Squeezing the glute and the quad, you're going to slowly press into your front knee and come up to stand. Stand. Come up with your chest. You're not standing. I apologize. If you feel like you're a bit too far apart, you can always step a little bit more forward. Your back heel is trying to find the floor, but it's not there. Your hips are square towards your front foot. And now we're going to either take our hands to our hips, leaning back, shoulders back, rolling them back. We're going to pinch the elbows together for our first option. Option 2, arms extend. Keep squeezing your glute of that back leg. Straighten out your back leg. Pushing into that back leg straight. Option 3, binding your hands and exhaling as you straighten your elbows. My chest is so tight, this feels great. Stare at something that's not moving on the wall. That's why I'm not looking at you guys right now. There's like a dot on my wall I'm staring at because it's helping me balance. Sink into that front leg a little deeper. Beautiful, let's release. Fingertips to the floor on the inside of the leg, if that feels okay. Fingertips, otherwise you're on your hand, you can be on your fist. And then take the right hand up. Remember, you are sinking into your hips here, so try not to lift your butt. Embrace that burn in your right leg and make a leg ball with your fingers so that you're not caving into your knuckles. Fingers are pushing out. And gently switch the hands. And take it up. Keep the hips low. A lot of the times when we're stretching, we have a tendency of being like, oh, I'm in pain, so let me lift my hips a little. Sink back into that knee. We're doing so good. And breathing, making that ball with the fingers. And let's bring it down to the hands and pull the back leg up, straightening the front, shake it out. And then we're gonna come up into our triangle pose on our leg. I forgot the name of this pose. Pressing just above the knee. I'm like mid-thigh to try to straighten that knee without hyperextension. So a little micro bend. Then focus on your tailbone. If you feel like you're like hunchback with your lower back, it's the only way I can refer it in my brain. If you feel like you're tucked under, lift up a little higher with your chest so that you can lift that tailbone and then work from there. The minute your tailbone starts to fight you too much, just stay a little higher where that place where you could hold it felt a little bit better, and that will help you get way deeper into this front leg over time. Left hand, fingertips, or hand, or fist, and right hand up. Remember, if you're on your fingertips, push the knuckles outward. Make that ball in your hands. Micro bend in your knees. Squeezing the shoulder blades. And we're going to take the right hand to the ankle and the left hand up to the ceiling. Finding our balance and our breath. Doing great. Amazing. We're going to take that hand down. We're going to bend our right knee again and step our left leg back, sinking down into the hips. Now we're going to turn to face the center, so coming into our side lunge. Again, if you need to turn to face Brenda, you can turn around to face us. Otherwise, you can keep hanging out wherever we are in our right leg bent lunge. Think about squeezing the side of your right glute to push that knee open. And you're squeezing the left thigh nice and straight. You're going to imagine squeezing your inner thighs together to help you take the weight off of your chest, come to your fingertips, and then eventually come to your palms, pushing into your hands to activate your back and your core. Your elbows are not on your knee. We're doing so great. You're doing so great. Just keep breathing for 3, 2, and bring it down. All the way to your right heel if that feels all right for you. Otherwise, as far as you can go, but externally rotating. Oops, my foot is like gone behind my hole. Externally rotating the left leg, so the knee and the toe point up to the ceiling. You're turning out from that hip. Things are on fire for 2. And now we're going to sit all the way down to our butt. So come down gently onto your bum. Extend your legs. Give it a little shake. Find your breathing. Oh, yeah. Great job. From here, we're going to take our legs into a straddle. Before our water break, we'll do one more thing, a couple more things probably, well, at least one more thing before we get up to have our water. So you're in a straddle, and I want you to have that external rotation again at your hips, so your knees and toes point up at the ceiling. You can also point your toes though, as long as everything is still externally rotated. Eventually, you will want to work on it pointed, so that's up to you. If you have knee things, flex the feet. If you feel good, point the toes. Roll the shoulders back, take your arms behind you. Take your arms behind you. We're gonna squeeze your inner thighs, okay? You're gonna lean forward. Okay, so as you lean forward, it's gonna start feeling resistance. So also squeeze your glutes. Really focus on squeezing your inner thighs, almost like you're trying to pinch your legs together to help resist the ground. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeezing them. And now we're gonna bring it back up. From here, we're gonna take our elbows out to the sides, arms, hands by our ears. I forgot what these were called. And I want you to really open your chest so you can't see your elbows in your peripheral vision. Okay, so from here, shoulder blades squeezing, elbows open wide. We're gonna exhale down, tapping the ground just next to our knee. Inhaling up and exhaling to the opposite side. Now make sure that as you come down, you still cannot see this top elbow in your peripheral vision because it will come down naturally. You have to push it even more open, and that's really going to help you get into those obliques and your back oblique. A few more, moving at your own pace. We're going to keep going. The number of reps is not the point, it's just about you moving within your range. Try to speed it up if you can, if you're feeling like you're able, but working through one more each side and make yourself balanced. Good. We're gonna reach up to the ceiling, this thing up here. Inhale, twist towards the right leg, and exhale, fold it over. Try to keep your left sit bone on the ground. So that means you're a little bit higher up, that's perfectly fine. And I want you to take your hands on either side of your leg. And I want you to imagine pulling through your arms, kind of like we did when we were in our tabletop. Pulling through your arms to lift your chest and pull your boobs towards your foot by squeezing those shoulder blades and almost also lifting your tailbone. The more you lift your tailbone, you will get a deeper stretch and farther in the stretch. It's also us priming our fold. We're holding it for a few more seconds, and then we're gonna exhale, fold all the way over, dropping your head, neck, and shoulders. If that feels okay, you're releasing your contraction and rounding your back. And then take your right arm in front of the right leg, left arm over. Now I want you to avoid putting the arm on the actual ground. Have it hovering so you're more pushing backward and then crunching underneath like we just were. And then reach from there because that's gonna help you again stay safer in this side crunch or side bend because it's also a side crunch. But stay safer as you try to find length. I want you to keep this top arm straight as much as you can. There's a little bend in the elbow, but try not to be like, right? And I want you to try to lengthen the arm like someone's pulling on your wrist and then pull the arm back as much as you can. And you're pushing into the bottom arm so that this shoulder tries to push forward. And I am breathing this way because, or talking this way because I'm also trying to breathe. For our last one breath. And we're going to exhale slowly. Oh, we're going to inhale up both arms. Exhale, twist, and we're going to fold into our flat back position first. So both arms on either side of the leg. Keep the hip on the ground of the opposite leg. You're going to imagine pulling through your elbows and lifting your shoulder blade, or lifting your chest, dropping your shoulders, and squeezing your shoulder blades. So if you're up higher, that's cool. But I want you to think of your tailbone lifting and having that flat back here as you contract for a few deep breaths. Or not so deep breaths because we're contracting. And one more breath. And bring it down over your leg, folding over, dropping your head, neck, and shoulders. Just again, keep that opposite hip on the ground. Keep your external rotation in your legs so your hips, knees, and toes are rotating outward. From here, we're going to take our left arm, hovering the elbow, more pushing back, like mid-thigh, so you're not cranking on your knee. with that arm. You can have the arm facing either direction. I like it pointed that way, but this time I pointed it this way for some reason, and that works too. But either way works. It's just the shoulder blade rotation that will feel differently in your body. So also good to practice both. That being said, we are pushing into that bottom elbow to push the shoulder forward. Top arm is straight with a micro bend, lengthening, pulling back. We're crunching, we're breathing, and hanging out for 3 more breaths. And bring it up. Nice and slow. Recentering yourself on your hips if you need to, and then move your butt cheeks out of the way so you can sit back on your hip bones, or sit bones, pardon me. Find that external rotation again, arms behind, roll it back one more time, and we're gonna find that flat back as we squeeze the legs. Come forward, engage your thighs, glutes, inner thighs, all the things. Imagine your legs closing against the ground to help you resist. And then arms can come forward. We're not dropping into them really. We're just using them as little supports. And you can also imagine that contraction we did as you pull through your arms and elbows. That'll help activate your shoulder blades and open your chest and create more of a flatter back, which will get you deeper into the pose. So we're gonna now hold that for 10 seconds. So inhale, exhale, pulling through the arms, contract for 10, 9, you're still breathing, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release that contraction. And now if that feels okay, you can come even farther or around it through and just fold whatever feels comfortable for you. Go to your deepest, whatever feels right. If your back rounds a little bit, that's fine. Just focus on keeping a little bit of that lift in that tailbone. And 2 more deep breaths. And then gently walk your way back in. And we're gonna slowly bend our knees and shift it into center. Bring it side to side. Good. From here, oh my, gently come up to stand. I got stuck. Grab water. Unless your water's right next to you, then don't get up. You can stay there. Mine is not. I'm very grateful for this pole being here to help me. Oh, all right. Let's take a breather. Gonna make sure we're all still recording. Good timing. Feeling good? Amazing. My legs are on fire. Awesome job, guys. All right. Fixing my hair because I'm not happy with how much it's jiggling around up there. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna come and sit on our bums so you can get to your butt however feels comfortable. Oh my God, guys. So when we can't walk tomorrow, you can blame me fully. It was me, I'm sorry. We're gonna lay back onto our back. We're gonna work on our hollow body. First, we're gonna start with our dead bug, and we're gonna progress to our hollow body. A great exercise, one, but also helps us feel how it would feel to hold our handstand. How it would feel in our abs to hold our handstand, because that's what the position will be. Like I said, we're gonna start with our dead bug. So our knees are gonna come over top of our hips, and goodness gracious, we can feel our hips. We're gonna tuck that tailbone under and engage the core and push the lower back into the floor. You're gonna flex your feet, and your feet are in line with your knees in line with your hips, like a 90-degree. You can have your head, neck, and shoulders on the ground, but your arms are up over your head. You can also, if it feels okay, tuck your chin and roll the shoulder blades off the ground so your upper core is working as well as your lower core. We're gonna hold it here for a few deep breaths. So you're reaching up if you're off those shoulder blades with the upper chest off, or their upper back, sorry, off the ground. You're lifting your tailbone, pushing your lower back actively into the ground. Try not to pull your knees in though, because they're kind of off to the over here. They're kind of creating that resistance that we need to help us create a little bit more conditioning and more strength that we want. Now keep lifting up higher, keep tucking your tailbone more, keep re-engaging because it gets like hard and then we stop and then we have to re-engage it for 3, 2, and release. Great job. Reaching through the arms, breathing through it. From here, pardon me, we're going to come into half of our hollow body. So our arms are going to reach towards our legs. So arms are down by our hips. And we're thinking of like, I don't know, we're going to call this aerodynamic hands. So your palms are together. I don't know why that's why I think of, but because they're close together, your fingers are together. And you're reaching your fingers towards your toes. You can flex your feet or point them again, it's up to you, but I want you to start in your dead bug. Because we keep our back off the ground for this hollow body. So if you want to, you can stay here, or you can work on holding it one leg at a time, holding one leg out, and then moving it to the other leg at your own pace. But if you can, we're going to now inhale and exhale at both legs and hold it. Squeeze our thighs together like you're holding a piece of paper between your legs. It's going to help activate your lower abs. Push the lower back into the floor. Lift the shoulders. Squeeze your arms together towards the midline of your body as well. Holding for 5, 4. Keep squeezing your inner thighs. 3, 2, and release. Reaching the arms and feet away. Great job. Shaking it out if you need. From here, we have one more version. And if you want to stick with either one of the versions we've already done, you're welcome to do so as well. Okay, you're going to still start in your dead bug to set up, especially if that's where you want to stay. We'll set up with you. Knees tucked over the hips, feet in line with the knees, feet flexed, reach up, inhale, exhale, shoulders up, arms reach towards the feet, legs extend, that's another option. And now we're going to reach the arms over our head. You're still pinching your arms together as you squeeze your inner thighs together as well. We're holding 10, 9, 8, straighten those legs, push something very heavy away from them. 5, 4, squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your arms together. 3, 2, lower back to the floor and release. And breathe. Great job. From here, just take a moment to find your breath. You can take your arms down and slowly bring your knees in. And then we're going to hug the knees in and just give your hips a little break and stretch in the opposite direction. You can roll side to side if that feels okay. Ooh, still catching my breath. From here, we're going to roll to our bellies. So take your time to extend your body as you need to before you roll over. And make sure you're on your mat. From here, we're going to take a moment to burp, apparently. Sorry. And then we're going to come, my goodness, all the way to our chest. So our hands are next to our arms, next to our armpits. I can't speak today, I'm so sorry. We're going to roll the shoulders back, pinch the elbows together, squeeze the shoulder blades to lift our chest off the ground. We're pushing our feet down into the ground. From here, we're going to hover our hands up to our shoulders. And now we're holding here, squeezing, lift up higher. Every time you try to release a little lower, I want you to squeeze higher. Squeeze your glutes together now. We're still, I hope they were already squeezing, but let's keep making sure they're squeezing. Take your elbows, make sure they're not falling down. We're just hovering the hands, try to lift up higher. Okay, we're just trying to find that squeeze in between the shoulder blades. You're just looking forward and kind of down, so you're not pinching the back of your neck. So depending on how high you are, you might be looking more downward. Now let's inhale, one more deep time, exhale, and release. Tuck the chin and breathe. From here, we're going to reset. Bring your hands back underneath of the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows together. Roll the shoulders back. And exhale, lift up the chest as much as you can and hover. We're going to now squeeze those glutes. Keep your feet down. We're going to now inhale the arms forward. Exhale, back and pulse. Inhale, back and pulse. You're exhaling the arms back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back, and you're trying to pulse at the back. We're not holding anything for too long now. We're just moving swiftly through these extensions. As you also extend your arms forward, think of reaching them up higher. So as you're reaching forward, it's also forward and up and forward. Let's think up and forward because forward makes us go down. Let's go up and forward. 3, 2, and 1. Release, tuck the chin. And you're going to look to the left. And we'll look to the right. And center. One last set. Full body Superman. So squeeze your glutes, engage the core. You're going to take, we'll start with the arms next to the shoulders. It's easier to get the chest higher. But now as we come up, inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, take the feet up as well as the arms. And then reach forward and we're holding for 10, 9. Make sure your knees are off the ground. You're squeezing your glutes, engaging the shoulder blades. Try to take your arms up higher for 3, 2, and really slowly tucking your chin. Look to the right and look to the left. You're going to press back into your child's pose. Find your breathing, stretch out your back. And we're going to slowly roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Roll out the wrists if we need to. Okay, now we're going to have a break. So at this point, I'm going to lead Ashley into a few handstand drills. Ashley, you're welcome, or Brenda, you're welcome to practice along if you'd like for a few, and then when you're like, ugh, I'm done with you, you're welcome to skip and do some stretches, but it's up to you how you feel like doing that. You can also, I can also give you something to do as well. Would you like to lead something for yourself or want me to give you something to do instead? You're muted, my love. You have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. There's a button that says, it's like a little microphone. I can ask to unmute you. Hang on. Now, does it tell, is it asking me? Asking you? Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to practice some of the stuff, like, on the bottom of the pole and try and lift myself up. I'm going to try some of those. Okay.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. We won't be too long, but yes, enjoy those. I'm going to mute you again. Yeah, put the camera so I can see you when I do chime back in, because I'm going to be doing more observing here. Just making sure this camera will catch. Whoops. Okay, so Ashley, you're up against the wall, my love. Is that right? Yeah, you have like the wall with the doorways. Yeah. Okay, yes, excellent. I'm gonna use my pole just so that you can see better what's going on. But obviously use your wallet. We're gonna start with straddle pops, because as you pop through your legs and you add that straddle, the momentum of your legs going like, whew, is gonna help give you more height and lift. So obviously having more grip will be helpful. I'm gonna take off my socks simply because my floor is exceptionally slippery. You're starting in, I'm gonna do it here so you see where I start. You're starting in like a downward dog positioning, and then bend your knees from there. Okay, and then as you pop up, you'll pop and release. Pop and release. So instead of coming into our traditional tuck, we're gonna now straighten the legs as much as possible, because sometimes they end up tilting us back into that handstand. I want you to think about having your butt a little, like you're gonna have a little bit of a like an arch, and that's okay. I can't speak. Normally in our handstand we want to tuck, right? But for this version, as we're learning the float, it's okay to have a little bit, but focus on still keeping that core nice and active, because eventually we will tuck under, and that's going to make it a whole other ballgame. But when you're ready, try out at least 6 to 10. I'm going to say 6 to 10, depending on how your wrists are feeling and how you are feeling. I want to just watch you guys and see how you're doing. Keep pushing through those hands, fingers spread wide. You're looking between your thumbs. Yeah. I love the wind up. I do those too. Yes. Beautiful. Squeezing the elbows. I think squeezing the eyes of your elbows together and forward, rolling the eyes of the elbows together and forward. You? Are you okay? Woo! Great job. So that's I was about to say something, and then I was like, oh, let's see how it's going. So you shifted forward in it, which is normal. So now I want you to try to do more of this, because as you're in your handstand right now, you're a little too rounded. So like, see where my arm positioning is? Right off forward, it's going to feel like I'm going to headbutt the pole or the floor, whichever object is near me. But it feels like I'm going to headbutt, right? So I want you to, as you're, because that's also where we are in the downward dog. So I get where you're getting at. So now as you're popping your hips up, you have to think of your face kind of doing this activity of it's trying to push to the place where it's now in between of my arms. So that is by activating the shoulder blades more and really pushing through the chest kind of thing. Yeah? How do you feel now that you've not moved for 2 seconds? Is your wrist okay? You like fell into it a little. It's okay? Okay. Okay, we're gonna talk later. Let me see a couple more. Okay, focus on elbows being extra straight. So locking out those elbows. And yeah, focusing on your ears coming better. Good, better. You can even get closer to the wall with your hands. So it's like almost like you're headbutting the wall, because it's gonna force your head to go where it needs to go. Because then you're like, well, my wall's there. Yeah, good, perfect. That was much better. So now as you get up higher, you're gonna start bringing it more into alignment. Nice. Did that feel better than the first few?
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
And perfectly fine after I had that little moment.
Yeah. It was a good save. It was a very good. I don't know what you did. I'll have to watch it back again, but it was excellent save. I'm glad you're okay. But they look excellent. So now you're gonna come into, let's walk it up. This is me contemplating. So you're gonna walk it up. Walk it up, walk it up. It sounds funny. I'm gonna do it over here because I feel safer than doing it against my pole right now. The higher you place your foot on the wall, the less far you have to go. And obviously the closer you place your hands, the less far you have to go. So if you want to be very close, you're welcome to be closer. But that means you have to do a little bit more flexibility work to get your leg off the wall, right? So play around with it. Start bringing it up. We're going to walk it in. Elbows super straight and locked. And focus on that engagement through the shoulder blades we just talked about. Almost like you're pushing your boobs forward and you're lifting up out of the shoulder blades, right? Because you can sag in the shoulders and then you can push up in the shoulders. I don't know if you saw me literally lower an inch or two in my shoulders. Right, so I want you to focus on this super up pushing. Then you're gonna tuck and tilt the tail bone. Okay? You can dismount in a cartwheel if you have space, but obviously don't kill yourself like I almost just did. Or walk it back out. Okay? Could you see the difference? Yeah, excellent. So focus on that huge lift in the shoulders. Arms nice and straight, shoulder blades squeezing, yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Tuck and tilts look great too. Nice. Awesome. Looking good, Brenda. Crushing it. Okay. Beautiful, Ashley, beautiful. Okay, your chest is kind of falling forward a little bit, so if you can, try to like shift over the shoulders a bit or even walk a bit closer to the wall. It's probably because you're far from the wall that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, to be perfectly honest. So it's more so as you get closer to the wall, you'll feel more upside down. It's almost like you're like trying to be halfway. It's like you're trying to go into a plank as you get more tired, we'll say, which is normal because your butt starts to fall and your body's like, girl, take a moment. All right, so last one, you're gonna kick up into one or you can walk up into one, but I want you to hold it as long as you can. Okay, Brenda, so same thing. This is our last exercise before we come back together to do our splits. So finish off whatever you're doing, make yourself even. So again, walk it up, kick it up, as flat as you can make it against the wall, as close to the wall as you can. Eventually you're gonna be belly button to the wall, nose to the wall, but no rush. Get there when you get there. As close as you can for as long as you can. And then when we're done with that, we're going to come back together and work a little bit of flexibility before we finish off. Looking great, Brenda. Looking good, Ashley, nice. Now tuck your pelvis under as you do this hold, yep. And keep squeezing those shoulder blades that are vibrating. I can see it, but they look fantastic because this looks great, just keep holding. And when you need to dismount, count to 5 and then dismount. Great job. I love challenging you. That was beautiful. And that's how you get stronger in them too. Sometimes it's just about adding an AMRAP, like an as many or as long as you can go rep at the end when you're already poopered. That's how it's going to challenge that strength and endurance, etc., and get you deeper into it. Amazing. Okay, let's grab some water, hydrate, and we're going to come back to our mats. We're going to finish off some splits, and then we're going to be on with our day because I'm going to keep you like a couple minutes over just to let you know, but if that's okay. If not, it'll be in the recording. You're welcome to peace if you have to go. But I'm going to do a quick little sequence of splits, and then we're going to, like I said, slide off. So I'm going to put my socks back on because I like to slide. But if you do not want to slide, obviously no socks for you. We're going to start with our, let's start with our front split. Like this split. Sorry, I had to decide which one would be best to start with. So let's start with our least dominant leg. So whichever hamstring is tightest in this split, I want you to do that side first. You're going to come into a lunge. Okay, if you need extra padding underneath of your knee, please put some extra padding underneath of your knee. So fold up your mat or whatever you need. I might actually fold it a little bit better than that because I don't feel like having the floor under me right now. Okay, from here your back foot is going to flatten. We're just going to press forward and back, flex, and in a few times. Flex, tailbone lifted, back flat, so your core is active. This is a total body exercise here. Last 3, 2, and 1. And from here, we're going to walk it off the mat or shift it forward and straighten out the legs as much as we can. Okay? You can flex your front foot to help protect your knee from moving. It just locks your knee in position, and you want to make sure this back foot is all 5 toes on the mat or floor. So you're square in the hips. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to squeeze together our legs together this way. Against the ground, we're holding for 10, 9. Squeeze your butt cheek in the back, quad in the front. 8, 7. Shoulder blades down, away from the ears. Chest forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release the squeeze of your legs, but keep the rest of the posture. Keep the shoulders down, keep the chest lifted. You can even keep squeezing the butt cheek and the quad, but stop squeezing your legs together because that's what's going to resist you going downward. But we were priming those muscles to get deep into that pose. Now I'm just talking to distract you from what you're feeling for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Come out however it feels comfortable for your body. And we will set up the other leg. When you're ready, come back to your knees. Make sure you have enough padding underneath of that knee for you. Okay, opposite leg is going to step forward. Finding our balance. Core is tight. Hands on the hips or hands on the knee or just above the knee, because when you go back, I don't want you cranking on your knee, but whatever feels good for you. Lunging deep, flexing the thigh as you come back. Back is flat the whole time. Tailbone lifts at the back, tucks under at the front. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to slowly walk it forward or hold whichever position we just did if you would like to just stay in one of those. From this position, remember, front foot can stay flexed to protect the kneecap from any movement. All 5 toes of your back foot are touching the ground. You're trying to square your hips. Now we're going to roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades so your chest pushes forward. Squeeze the butt cheek of the back leg, quad of the front leg, and squeeze the legs together and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep squeezing your glute. 5, and your quad. 4, and your shoulder blades. 3, 2, and release the squeeze of your legs against the ground. And release if you require the shoulders, but also try to keep them back. Because again, posture is key for deepening our stretches. So if you need blocks underneath of your hands, that's fine. Think of all of the shoulder blade squeezing we did earlier. As you squeeze the shoulders, you'll lean back, which will help you keep more posture in your split. So you can push into the hands here to help you lean back as well as you start to get deeper. Now I'm just talking to distract you, and release into or out of it, however it feels good for you. And then we're going to finish off with our middle split or a frog, depending on where you're at. But first we're going to start fully standing on our feet, and we're going to come into a wide stance. A little bit wider than you probably normally would stand in this position. We're going to bend both knees so we can reach to the ground. We're going to shift side to side without extending the legs back up. So we're just shifting. Good. Lubricating those joints. As you push to the side, make sure you're also pushing the knee out. So you're taking a moment to really squeeze the side of your glute, to push the knee open. Squeeze the quad on the straight leg as well. 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1, and 1. Now we're going to do you can either do a frog, you can do a half frog on one on each leg, but that means you have to do both legs. So I would say you could either do a frog, froggy, 90-90 with the legs, or right from here, you're going to start walking it out into an actual middle. Wherever you are, we're going to contract the legs against the ground for that 10-second hold. So find your place, tuck your pelvis, inhale, and exhale. Squeeze those legs together. Squeeze your quads, maybe not your glutes, but your quads and your inner thighs are squeezing together for 10, 9, 8, 7. Flex your feet. So you're on the inner ridge of the feet, no matter which position you're in, frog or here. Inner ridge of the feet are flexed. My butt is vibrating. 3, 2. Now release the squeeze. Sink deep into the pose or just hold the position. But your goal here is to release the squeeze of the legs together, to let your legs open. Breathing deeply. Three more deep breaths. Keep squeezing your thighs. And sit back or crawl forward if you're in your frog to release. From here, we're going to breathe. Massage the hips if you need to. Slowly bring it in or shift back into your child's pose if you're already on your knees from being in your frog. Otherwise, you can also lay on your tummy and stretch your hips out if that's what it would prefer. First, to kind of stretch out those hip flexors from all that contracting they just did. And then We'll finish off with a child's pose, shifting back, knees open, arms forward, tuck the chin. Take your left arm, slide it underneath of your right arm, coming to the side of the shoulder, stretching it out. Bring it up and switch. Right arm slides under the left, dropping into the shoulder. Bring it center. Tuck your toes, walk yourself up to your feet. Folding over for a moment before you roll it out. And then look up when you're ready. I don't want to get dizzy, so I'm taking a minute. Here we go. Awesome job, my loves. How do we feel? Stop on that. How do I feel? You feel good? Ooh. Awesome. I'm gonna hit